What up, guys? Carolina Jackpot coming at you. It's the 2018 South Carolina Gamecocks season wrap-up. Yeah, it's hard to believe that the regular season is already over with. 12 games are already in the book for most teams. 13 for those of us who were fortunate enough to be in conference championship games. And I wanted to go over the 2018 season, and we'll go over it by games and talk about some players and so forth and so on. I posed a question on my Carolina Jackpot fan page poll on YouTube earlier in the week and asked you to rate the South Carolina Gamecocks season 2018. How'd we do? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. What'd you think? I got an overwhelming response for thumbs down. Yeah. And in second place was thumbs in the middle. It was behind by a wide margin. And then thumbs up was behind by an extremely high margin. Very few people voted for thumbs up. Yeah, as I thought they would, and rightfully so. And this is going back over the 2018 schedule and the results of which. Let's look at it real quick. 7-5 on the regular season, so a winning season. But we got a win over Coastal Carolina week 1. Week number 2, a game against Marshall, 41-17, Georgia, 41-17 loss. A game in which the Gamecocks in the second half came out totally flat. Third quarter, totally abysmal, terrible, where we lost the game. And I'll talk about that more as the video goes on. But the third quarter, lost the game for us against Georgia. And we moved on. We were going to play Marshall, but that one got hurricaned out by Florence. The next week, traveled to Nashville, Tennessee, beat Vanderbilt 37-14. Good win, good solid win in a game in which we were only favored by about 2 to 3 points. So we definitely covered the spread there and made a mark against Vanderbilt. Next week, what did we do? Made a skid mark against Kentucky in a game that was either a pick-em. South Carolina was favored at some points during the week. Kentucky was favored at some points during the week. It went back and forth, and I think by the time it kicked off, they were like a 1-point favorite. We lost the game 24-10. If you've watched any of my meltdown videos from earlier in the season, you heard me talk about this one. We should have lost it 24-3. The touchdown that we scored was on a busted coverage type play that Kentucky really gave up on. And that just a really disappointing loss, especially as we saw how the season progressed, things unfolded, and we saw what Kentucky really was. That was a bad loss. Texas A&M the next week at home was I'm missing this one. Missouri was the next week at home, 37-35 victory. Really good victory for the Gamecocks. Jake Bentley was out of that game, injured. Michael Scarnecchia played in that one. 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions. Perfect on the day. Late in the game, kind of some crazy herky-jerky stuff with the weather happened. It was cloudy all day. We got one of those kind of late summer type storms come through South Carolina. It just deluged the place with rain, thunderstorms, and this and that. It's just affected everybody's play. South Carolina seemed to adapt to it. We played better during the rain. Missouri didn't play well at all during the rain. And, I've looked at it on Facebook all season long. You'll have Tater fans on here all year long talking about, well, if it hadn't been for the rain, you'd be in baby. Well, guess what? Missouri needed to adapt to that too. South Carolina adapted to it. They didn't adapt to it. So guess what? Score 1 for South Carolina on that one, okay? It's not our fault that it rained. It's not like Will Muschamp beckoned down to somebody and said, hey, could you please drop a few inches on us real quick? Could you please, so we can win this game? Because Missouri don't play well in the rain, because they're used to playing in deserts and places where it's dry all the time and they never see rain. They won't know what a raindrop is. That's not what happened. We won the game because we executed our game plan and we were better than them. Moving on to the next week, Texas A&M's the one I was going to talk about. 23-26 loss to Texas A&M. That one was one that South Carolina should have won. Brian Edwards, a lot of key drops in that game. Jake Bentley didn't play his best football, especially in the first half of that game. If you watched any of my videos this year, that one became famous. After the Texas A&M game, I was really ready to get up, and I was done. But you'll have to watch that one. Kudos to South Carolina for being able to come back from that. But Texas A&M, game they should have really won. I won't talk about that one anymore. We'll move on. Tennessee, the next week at home, win 27-24. Gamecocks, it was a win, but after it was over with, it really didn't feel like a win. It feels like we should have lost. Jarrett Guarantano converted third down after 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 against us. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous how much they converted against us. We made him look like an NFL quarterback in that game. Thankfully, we were able to come up with a few stops at the end. They made a few mistakes, and we won that one 27-24. But I wasn't happy after that one if you saw a video of that game. Ole Miss on the road, 48-44. Gamecocks won that one and come from behind fashion. Good win. Good win against a high-octane offense, and we were able to hold them in check long enough to get the win. We held them all at fourth down 2 different times at the end of the game. Props for the Gamecocks being able to win that game against a very high-scoring team. The next week on the road at Florida, I don't need to say a whole lot about the way I feel about this one. Gamecocks gave the game away. They gave it to an inferior team. And if you're a Florida Gator fan watching this, yes, you are an inferior team. Just because you beat up on Florida State at the end of the year does not make you superior to us. It doesn't make you superior to Tennessee. It doesn't make you superior to Georgia. It doesn't make you superior to Vanderbilt or anybody in the SEC. You're trash. You'll always be trash. I can't stand you guys. I mean, that's it. But at any rate, we're going to talk about third quarter again. Third quarter was when South Carolina started giving that game away, and the fourth quarter was when they gave it away for real. Third quarter was when they started putting the wrapping on the present and started putting it under the tree for Florida. Fourth quarter was when Florida grabbed it from under the tree and unwrapped it. That's the way we'll talk about it. That's the way that I can put an association with those. The next week, Chattanooga at home, 49-9. Gamecocks, feel good win. Great. Yay, we've been an FCS school. Woo, 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 woo. Shake your pom-poms, and all 60,000 of our fans in an 80,000-seat stadium will go nuts over that one. That was a great win. I could have predicted that before the season started. Next week, on the road, Clemson. Biggest game of the year, Palmetto Bowl, blah, blah, all that. 56-35. Gamecocks lost 300 and something yards passing. They gave up to Trevor Lawrence. Not good. But on that side of that, 510 yards, Jake Bentley passing, 600 and something yards total offense. Pretty good numbers against an NFL defense for Clemson. But, I mean, let's make no mistake about it. They won the game by 21 points. They punched in a garbage time touchdown to take the 21-point win. It was 14-point. It was 49-35. They punched in one at the end. We tried our best to score one in garbage time, but we ran out of time. And that was how that one ended up. A lot of Gamecock fans look at that one as a moral victory. I really don't. We lost it. But they did have a good game plan against that one, and it makes me really mad that they come out with a game plan like that against Clemson in a game that, you're probably going to lose whether you bring out your best game plan or not. Why didn't they come out with that game plan against Kentucky? Why didn't we come out with that type of game plan against Texas A&M or Florida or Georgia, even one of the games that we could have conceivably won? I mean, I think if we had played that well at home offensively against Georgia, South Carolina could have won that game on a hot day in Columbia at the beginning of the season, hitting them from all sides of the damn field from what they didn't know. I think we could have won that game. I do. I think Clemson's a little bit more talented than Georgia this year. But, it is what it is. We lost the game. Akron, last game of the season, was a makeup game. We played at home on December 1st and won 28-3. Carolina kept the starters in there like the beginning of the third quarter and then pulled everybody out. We didn't even cover the spread in that game, but we still won it. Good win for the Gamecocks. Sorry, it's Gatorade time. We finish up 7-5 on the year. Belt Bowl to end the season on December 29th. We'll play Virginia in Charlotte, our home away from home, if you will. Willie B. North. We're 3-0 up there. We have beaten East Carolina in 2011. We beat North Carolina in 2015. We beat North Carolina State in 2017. So we're 3-0 against teams from the state of North Carolina in Bank of America Stadium, and looking to make it 4-0 on December the 29th against Virginia. Something that concerns me about this is the speedy quarterback, Bryce Perkins. I mean, hopefully South Carolina's depleted defense can contain him. I think that they probably can. But, nothing for certain there. I mean, we have got a lot of players that are either sitting out or injured in this game. So, hopefully they'll all show up, play a really good game, and Jake Bentley will still be able to take business against Virginia without any kind of problem. Him on the year, passed for almost 3,000 yards. Should eclipse that easily on December 29th against Virginia. 27 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. A lot of those came at the beginning of the year. A lot of them did. I'm not going to lie. I was ready for him to be gone. If you want to look at it, we had 32 touchdown passes total for the whole year and 12 interceptions. So all the interceptions were on Jake. Rico Dowdle, 633 yards rushing this year. A little bit of limited action. He played about 8 games. He was injured somewhat. He'll be the bell cow. For next year. As Mon Denson, Tyson Williams, A.J. Turner, all those guys are seniors or they're graduates. They're all going to be gone. Deshaun Fenwick, a guy that came out this year and he really played well in limited duty. He's a freshman this year, so look for him to do some stuff next year. And we got a couple of redshirt freshmen and a guy from the class of 2020 that's coming in, or 2019, for next year that should make an impact on the team. Right? Come here. You want me in the video? Come here. Looking at it from the tight end side of things, Jacob August, Kyle Markway, both guys did some good things this year, made some key catches for us. Casey Crosby, all those guys will be gone next year. It's up to some new folks to jump in there and take the reins on that. Receiving wise next year, of course, Debo Samuel's gone. Brian Edwards, I don't know if he'll be back or not. I really don't. My best scenario says that he probably won't. Mel Kiper has him listed as like a second-round draft pick. I don't know about that, but Brian needs to get him a little steadier. A little steadier with the hands. Be a little bit more sure of himself and make a few more catches that count. And I think he would definitely be an NFL draft pick. We know Debo Samuel's gone. Shi Smith, a little bit banged up at the end of the year. He'll be back. Keel Pollard, he'll be back next year. We got some more coming on in there and whatnot. Or Trey Smith, the big possession receiver for us. He got hurt a couple games in. He'll be back. He didn't get a chance to catch a touchdown this year. So that should be a redshirt season for him. And hopefully that will be one that comes back to help us. Throwing the ball, we know Jake Bentley will be back next year. He hadn't declared for anything, and he's definitely not ready for an NFL draft. Right now, he played really well about the last 4 or 5 games of the season. He settled down and showed a lot of poise. He needs to do it again next year. He needs to stay with South Carolina next year. Brian Edwards needs to stay with South Carolina next year to prove that he can catch the ball at the next level. These guys need to refine their game this year, which they did. Next year, they need to finish their game. They need to finish their game. They need to finish the deal and seal it up. We got some big games next year. We got a home game against Alabama. We got Clemson at home next year. Clemson. Who else? I don't know. Kentucky at home. You know how I feel about them. You know how I feel about Florida. We got all those teams at home next year. Everybody talk about, the schedule's going to be so tough next year. No, I think this year's was tougher, but Alabama at home next year will definitely be a stretch. We need all these guys in there. We got some recruits coming in next year, and we got some that still haven't committed yet. For the class 2019, Chris Steele, the nice cornerback out of California. He's from Bellflower High School out there near where our number one commit, Ryan Holinsky, is from. He's a cornerback. It's down to South Carolina and Florida on the recruiting list for Chris Steele. And he's going to make it says he's going to make a decision on December 19th, but he's not going to announce until the All-Star game on like January the 2nd. But he's going to sign with somebody on December 19th. So, yeah, man, that's definitely not going to leak out nowhere who you sign with. We got a few more. Eric Gray, running back from the Memphis, Tennessee area. Kevion Mullins, another one, athlete from the Memphis, Tennessee area that we flipped way back when. He's coming to South Carolina. Hopefully, Kevion can be a good rub-off on Eric Gray. Get him to come to South Carolina. They need to sell him on some early playing time because he could definitely come in there and make a spot for himself early on and hopefully become a big-time boomcock. We need somebody in that running back position sorely that's going to go in there and carry the load. Rico Dowdle, he's a senior next year, but I don't know, just hadn't really done it for me. Hadn't really shown a whole lot of promise, but maybe there is some there. Overall, Gamecocks, give you my season on that, 7-5. I'll give it a thumbs down as well. I don't like that. There were some games there that we should have won. We should have finished up 9-3, especially looking at how Kentucky finished the year. With their running game fell apart at the end of the year, which we did have them at the beginning of the year. They were a little bit healthier, so I'll give them that. But there was no way we should have lost to them. We should have beat Florida, and we should have beat Texas A&M. There are 3 more games there that South Carolina should have won. So to flip them as losses, we should have ended up 10-2, just like I predicted. It should have been losses to Georgia, a fairly close game, and Clemson in a fairly close game. Instead, we lost to Georgia in a blowout, Texas A&M in a fairly close game, Kentucky blowout, Florida, fairly close game. It should have been a win for us, and Clemson in a fairly close game for most of it, which they think it was a blowout, but Tater fan will tell you it's a blowout all day long. That's another game where we fell apart in the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter we actually tried to regroup. So it was actually like a blowout third quarter, but a fourth quarter regrouping. And that's not a blowout. We lost it by 14 points, in my opinion, because we would have scored that touchdown at the end of that game if it hadn't been for the fact that the clock expired. And that's just what happened there. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this game against Virginia. Hopefully we can go in there with a somewhat scaled-down roster and still beat an inferior ACC team. That'll be a great one. Go Gamecocks. Go Coach Boom. We're looking forward to this one. We're looking forward to some great recruiting, and we're looking forward to 2019 as well. It's always wait till next year. Go Cox.